So we are 25% of the way through third grade currently. We are in the middle of addition, subtraction, and estimation. And then, as I said, intro to division comes after that, followed by fractions. So we've got a lot to do. Let's go ahead and get started. We already did rounding to the nearest 10 or 100. We already did the quiz. We already did estimating to add numbers. So let's see. We are currently sitting at add within 1,000. So I guess that's what we're going to do right now. Let's go. All right. Add 312 plus 263. Man, it's been a little bit. This is a bit of review. That's fine. Let's do this two different ways, shall we? There are a couple of different ways that we can do this. And the first way I'm going to do it is sort of the classic way that you probably learned if you're about my age. All right, I'm going to say 312 plus 263. And actually, in this case, it's very, very easy one way or the other because none of these are going to end up with a situation where you have to lend or borrow or anything like that, right? 2 plus 3 is 5. 1 plus 6 is 7, 3 plus 2 is 5. So in this particular case, this 3-digit addition is really nothing more than 3 one-digit addition problems. And since there's no going over 10, we don't have to worry about carrying. So 575 is the answer on that one. What the heck? Sorry about that. Sometimes I click on the outside of the thing without meaning to. Okay. Blank equals 352 plus 540. Once again, there is no carrying, there is no borrowing. This is going to be pretty simple. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the answer down. This is review after all, 892. I do encourage you, if you're having a hard time sort of following what I'm referencing, I do talk much, much more in detail about the thought processes that I go through when I'm adding 3-digit numbers in earlier videos, probably called adding 3-digit numbers or adding within 1,000. All right, adding 439 plus 122. Now there is some carrying, so we'll go ahead and do a little bit of review. So if we say 439 plus 122, the sort of old school way that I learned it is that 9 plus 2 is 11, and then for mysterious reasons we put the 1 down here and the 1 up here, and then we continue adding on down. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 2 is 6, nothing is carried, 4 plus 1 is 5, the answer is 561. This is an absolutely fine, totally valid way of answering this problem. And if it works for you, use it. Another way that you could do it is you could break it up into separate problems and sort of shift it about in any way you want, either in your head or on paper, just as we've been doing in previous videos. 561. 418 plus 418. So in my head, what I'm doing right now is I know that 18 plus 18 is 36. And I know that 400 plus 400 is 800. So I'm actually going to write out what my brain just did automatically. Again, just as a little bit of review. So when I saw 418 plus 418, what I actually saw was 18 plus 18 is 36, and I also saw 400 plus 400 equals 800. And because of these zeros in 800, because the tens and the ones place don't have anything in them, it makes the addition very, very easy. It's 836. That is what my brain does in particular when I'm breaking up these 3-digit numbers to add them together. What yours does might be different, and that's okay, so long as it's something that A, leads you to the right answer, and B, you can explain to somebody else if you need to. 836 is the answer. Nice. That's adding within 1,000. What do we got next? We have a quiz. Now, we skipped all of this adding 2- and 3-digit numbers because, again, we did this back in first grade or second grade. I think it was second grade. So we don't have to do these again, but we are going to do a quiz that is going to give us a randomized assortment of some of those problems just to make sure that we are still, on our toes and making sure that we're still remembering, what we did last year. Or in our case, a few streams ago. Select 2 strategies that we can use to add 171 plus 665. There are 2 answers here. I'm not going to mess that up again. I could totally take the 1 away from the 170 and add it to the 665. That is not what B is doing. B took away 1 from both. That is definitely not going to be the same answer. You can move 1s around, but you can't just get rid of them. So I think the answer is A and C, because it does say there are 2 answers, and one of them is already incorrect. But let's check the others just in case. So 171 is indeed 150 plus 21. Yeah? And then 665 is, yes, 650 plus 15. So this is an absolutely valid way of breaking apart this addition to make it more palatable or easier or whatever you need. Same deal down here. They just broke it up by place. 100 and 600, 70 and 60, 1 and 5. Very nice. Fill in the blank. Let's see. 684 plus 270 is the same as 654. Well, we took 30 away from the 684. And again, that 30 has to go somewhere if this is going to be the same. And they're being sneaky about equations again, right? When they say is the same as, that's an equal sign. When they say is the same as, like quote unquote, they mean that it's equal to. And again, this blank, shh, don't tell the kids, is an X. We are doing algebra, we're just not, we don't have the vocabulary for it yet. We're looking at the patterns and we're not expecting ourselves to understand all the vocabulary right away. So we took 30 away from the 684, we give it to the 270, essentially. So it's 654 plus 300, which I think we can all agree is a much easier addition to do. All right, so we have 707 plus 253. One of these answers is correct. Let's zoom out just a touch more so that I can see both the question and the answer. So all of them have 700s. C is out because it does have 200s here, right? And then there are no 10s and 5 10s. And then 7 1s, it's A. B is almost correct, but I made the mistake of saying 7 10s and 3 1s instead of 7 1s and 3 1s. 608 plus 251. Again, these kinds of addition problems I like because there's no carrying, there's no borrowing, there's none of that. 600 and 200 is 800. 0 and 50 is 50. 8 and 1 is 9. The answer is 859. And that's another thing. Like, if you know that there isn't going to be any, you're not going to have to do any carrying, you're not going to have to do any borrowing. If all of them line up in such a way that you're not going to get any digit over 10, then you can do the addition in sort of reverse order, the hundreds and then the tens and then the ones, the way you would read it. Normally we do the ones place first, right? And then we do the tens place and then the hundreds place, just in case we need to do any borrowing. But if you don't need to, then the order doesn't matter. 842 plus 89 is approximately equal to, remember, I think we saw this last stream. We've got this sort of squiggly equals sign, which means is approximately equal to. It means we are no longer using precise numbers. We're going to round and estimate. And this is very, very, very important. It is a very important skill to have because it's not always appropriate to give a perfectly exact number. So let's see. 842 is about 850. Yeah. And 89 is, I'd say, about 100, I guess. So the two of them together would be about 950. Okay, so 930. That makes sense to me. Again, we're just estimating. We're not being super exact. The following number line models 387 plus 33. So as you can see, they start on the number line. And this is my favorite way of showing addition, by the way, is on a number line. They start at 387. They hop up 3 to 390. They hop up, it looks like 10 to get to 400. Because once you're at 400, that's an easy place to springboard off of. And they do. Up to 420. No comments, please. That's quiz 2.